lot of the things that they make you go through are designed to break you mentally, spiritually, and physically. So whenever you go through a training like that, it opens up the door to a lot of other things. And for me, I went from that training into a Goggins challenge where I was running 4 miles every 4 hours for 24 hours. And I did that with my other Air Force compadre that was with me in Joint Special Operations Command. And we kind of fed off of each other, and that was awesome. And people heard about it. All of the special forces guys were like, "Hey, we should do that," and they did. But I wanted it up. I wanted to keep up in it, right? Because everything that you pass, every gate that you go through, you're like, "All right, I did that. Now what? What's next?" And so I thought I'll do 48. So unlike a lot of people, unlike David Goggins' book, I actually consulted professionals. I was like, "Hey, strength coach, what should I do? Hey, nutritionist, what should I do?" And I got this plan to do it. And I didn't train for it, but I got a plan from experts that said, "Hey, this is what you should do. You're not going to feel like eating. In 18 hours, you're not going to be hungry, but you need to eat. And this is what you should eat." So I had everything set up, and I did a 48-hour challenge alone. So I went from doing what you would call SEAL training with a partner, and having like a swim buddy,
Mhm.
to do these 4 hours and make sure that it was accountable, and like having a positive influence, to going into what Green Berets experience whenever they go through their training, being alone. And it's just like somebody's watching. I don't know who, but somebody's watching. And so there's a different mental shift, and everyone goes through it differently in the community. So Rangers do the same thing. They have this part where they lose all their sleep, they lose all their food, and then they have to do 3 or 4 days with a team, but they have to like kind of gel together to make it happen. So everyone does this type of thing. So I did a 24-hour, and then I did a 48. In the 48, my swim buddy was gone. So he's like, "Hey, I'm still going to hold you accountable. So text me." So this is where technology became very awesome, because I did 4. And he's like, "Good job." I said 8. He goes, "Man, you're going to do it." And, he started giving me this positive influence off a text where I was waiting for this positive influence. 2 o'clock in the morning, "Dude, I just completed 36. He's like, "Awesome." I was like, "My foot is broken." He's like, "You're going to keep going though." And I'm like, "I am. I'm going to keep going." So I texted him, and then, I was doing the stretches, and I was like, "Man, this is painful. My foot is broken, my toe is broken, my foot is bleeding." I had to run the last 20 miles barefoot because my shoes just wouldn't work, because I didn't train for this. I did not train for this. So my shoes were like digging into my heel. They were digging into the side. So I had 4 cuts on my right side, and it was bleeding like a sieve. So I bandage it up, and I'd run 4 miles. I take the bandage off, put a new bandage on. So I got a breather, which was awesome for me, but I completed it. And then after a while, I was like, did I send him a text, because I was tracking the miles off of the text, and I think I lost one. So I ended up running an extra 4 miles just to make sure I made it.
Mhm.
And that last 4 miles was the easiest 4 miles I ever ran. Easiest by far, easiest 4 miles I ever ran, because I had broken through this mental cycle that a lot of people just wouldn't put themselves through. And I gained a lot of that. So the SEER training opened the gate to things like that, and then I continued. I did PRs on weights. I did PRs on running, and I hate running.